Today, students, we are going to learn lesson 1.2 from English Balbharathi for Standard 7, Odd 1 N. So come along, let's read and understand it. Hey, this video was made just for you. Do remember to like, share, and subscribe. Odd 1 N. How was the first day of school? Asked Mother as Rima sat down for dinner. Now, here, sat down for dinner means to sit down at the dining table to have dinner. So, here, it means that the full family is sitting down for dinner and talking. So, mother wanted to know from Rima how was the first day of school. Okay, Rima shrugged. No lessons, just settling in. So Rima replied, she said, okay. Now, shrugged means to move your shoulders up and down to show indifference. So she said it was just okay, nothing special. And there were no lessons today. So it was the first day of school. So Rima said that there were no lessons, but they were just settling in. Now, settling in means to get to know. To get to know your friends, to get to know your teacher, to get to know your classroom, and to get to know much of your other things. What would be your timetable? What would be your other activities? How would the term progress, any other things that you would need to know. So all this is called settling in. Now, any new girls in your class? Inquired her father, Mr. Sen. So father, Mr. Sen, wanted to know. Inquired means he wanted to know whether there were any new girls in her class this year. Only one, Malty, and she's funny, grimaced Rima as she helped herself to the salad. Now, Rima replies that there was only one girl who had joined in new, and her name was Malti, and Rima found her very funny. So, grimaced, the word grimaced means to make a facial expression to show dislike. So, this tells us the tone in which Rima said that she is funny. So, this tells us that Rima did not like Malti. Now, as she helped herself to the salad means as she served herself some salad, that is, she took some salad in her plate. Why do you say that? Asks Mr. Sane. So now Mr. Sane wanted to know why Rima found Malti to be funny. Rima replies, she can't speak much English. She has come from another state, sniffed Rima. Now, Rima replies that why she doesn't like Malti, that is, she finds Malti to be funny, is that Malti can't speak good English. She can't speak proper English or she can't speak fluent English, and that she has come from another state. Now, sniffed Rima is again to show dislike, to make sounds from your nose to show dislike to something. Now, naming one at the other end of the country. So, she mentioned which state Malti had come from. Oh, children from that state are supposed to be clever. They are specially good at maths, said Mr. Sane quietly. So now Mr. Sane told her that the state from which Malti had come, all the children from that state are supposed to be clever. Like most of the children are very clever, and specially they are very good at maths. So that is what Mr. Sane told Rima. Well, this one does not seem smart at all. So Rima replies that no, Daddy, you are wrong. This one does not seem to, means she does not look that smart. She does not seem to be smart at all. Oily hair, bindi, and all. Good morning, teacher, mimicked Rima. Now, Rima says that Malti has oil in her hair. That is, she puts oil in her hair. That is why her hair is oily. And then she puts a bindi on her forehead and all that. That means she is dressed differently. And Rima mimicked. Mimicked means to copy, to say exactly the way another person says. So she mimicked Malti and she said, "Good morning, teacher." So that is the way that is the way Malti said. So Rima mimicked her. Her parents exchange glances. Now, exchange glances means to look at each other and to give out a silent message. That means they both said something through their expressions. So, her parents exchanged glances. Rima was their only child. That means Rima was the only child of Mr. and Mrs. Sain, and that Rima did not have any other siblings. That is, she was the only child. She did not have any brothers and sisters. They doted on her. The word doted means they loved her very much. That is, Rima's parents loved her very much, and she was the only child. But she could be insufferable at times. So, insufferable means intolerable, that is, unbearable. Sometimes she would do such acts which nobody would like it. So, they thought that she could be unbearable, that is, insufferable at times. I hope you and your friends will not make things too difficult for Malti, sighed Mr. Sain as he rose from the table. Now, Mr. Sain said that, hope you don't make, you and your friends, that is, Rima and her friends, will not make things difficult for Malti. That is, they would not tease her, or they would not, or help her out, or make certain things where Malti would not be able to, settle in, or find it difficult to get to know things, because she's new in the school, she's new in the class, so she has to learn a lot of things. So your Mr. Sain sighed. To sigh means to make sounds from your mouth to show sorrow, okay, to show little sadness. So he sadly told her, and he said that, hope you and your friends don't make things difficult for Malti. Now sighed Mr. Sain as he rose from the table. That means when he had finished his dinner, he got up from the table, and at that is the time he told Rima not to make things difficult for Malti. Rima and her gang had decided to do just that. Now, her gang means her group of friends. So, Rima and her group of friends had decided. What had they decided? To do just that. To do just that means to do just what Mr. Sain had just mentioned. That is to make life difficult for Malti. So, they had decided that we will not help her out, we will make things difficult for her, and all those things. Next morning, the minute Malti entered the class, they all chorused, "Good morning." Now, the next morning, when Malti entered the class, Rima and her friends chorused means in one voice, they mimicked Malti and they said, "Good morning." But poor Malti, she did not realize that they were making fun of her. So, normally they don't say good morning, they say good morning. But here they were trying to imitate, they were trying to copy, and in that they were trying to tease Malti by saying exactly the way she said it. But Malti did not realize that. She she did not realize that they were making fun of her. She beamed back at them. Beamed back means she smiled back at them and replied, "Good morning." So, very innocently, she replied back the wish, "Good morning." Now, another girl, Shahnaz, giggled. Giggled means to laugh. And she asked, "Why do you put so much of oil in your hair?" She said she asked very rudely. Now, rudely means in a very rude manner. That is to, not say it very nicely, to in a very insulting manner. So she asked Malti, why do you put so much oil in your hair? Now, poor Malti looked offended but did not reply. She felt very, very bad. Okay, here she wanted to make friends with her, but these girls were insulting her. They were talking very rudely with her. They were making life difficult for her. And the skirt so long, said Claire catily. Now, another girl, Claire, she started teasing her about her skirt. She said, your skirt is so long. Catily means again teasingly. Malti flushed. Okay, flushed means she was very, very, she felt insulted. She felt ashamed of herself. She was about to say something. She was going to say something back to Claire and Shahnaz. But then, just then, the teacher entered, so she could not reply back. But as the class progressed, that is, as the studies went on from one subject to the other, as the school progressed, the class progressed, everyone was surprised to see Malti raise her hand whenever teacher asked a question. Raise her hand means to show, to say that she knew the answer. So to raise your hand in the class to answer the question that the teacher has asked. So they all were surprised. They thought that Malti was not a smart kid. So that is why here they all the children were surprised whenever teacher asked a question, Malti was the first one to raise her hand and answer to wanted to answer the question. Yes, Malti, you answer, said the teacher. Malti answered correctly, and teacher nodded in appreciation. So each question that the teacher asked, Malti answered everything correctly. And teacher nodded. Nodded means to shake one's head up and down to show, to say yes, to show yes in appreciation. So that means she appreciated, she liked what Malti had answered, the way she had answered. So, in appreciation, to show the facial expression and to shake your head to say, yes, you are right. When Rima recounted this at home, her mother said, sounds like a clever girl. That means Rima told everything what had happened in school, how Malti answered the teacher's question. So her mom said, yes, it looks like Malti is a clever girl. Sounds like a clever girl means, yes, that means Malti is a clever girl. What's the use? Said Rima uncharitably. So here Rima did not like that her mother praised Malti. So she's saying, what is the use of all this? Uncharitably means to say it without any appreciation for other person, not liking it. Her English is so atrocious. So here again, Rima points out to Malti's English and she says it's so atrocious. Atrocious means so very different, so not so good. The same way, sorry, the same may be said of your Hindi, countered Mr. Sain sharply. Now he was getting irritated with the way Rima was treating Malti, and she was again and again pointing out to her weaknesses. That is, her English was weak. So every time Rima was pointing out to Malti's English, so he got very irritated. So, and he replied to that. She said the same way. That is how your Hindi is. That means Rima's Hindi was not very good. Countered means replied back. Mr. Sain sharply. Sharply means in a very angry tone. He was getting quite sick of Rima's attitude. Quite sick means he was getting irritated. He was getting annoyed of Rima's attitude, that is behavior towards Malti. Even Mrs. Sane did not like it. That night, Rima's parents discussed the matter. That means they felt very bad the way Rima was behaving with Malti or treating Malti. So they started discussing about it as to how to explain it to Rima. Now this is what they were discussing. We put Rima into a good school to make her smart and confident. I'm afraid she is turning into quite a little snob, said Mr. Sane sadly. So, the reason why they had put Rima into this good school was so that she becomes smart and confident. But they were scared that she was turning out to be quite a snob. Snob is a person who does not like to make friends, who does not like to mix around. So that person is called a snob. So here Mr. Sen felt that she was not being very good at, behaving with other people. So he was very sad about it. Here are some words and phrases whose meaning was explained in the video. Find the meanings and write in the comment section below. I'm sure you want to know what happened next to Malti, Rima, and her friends. So see you in part 2. For more worksheets on this lesson, please visit our website at www.jkacademypro.com.